That's right, fans. We are back. Welcome to the Big Schmaz. I'm Scotty Bender alongside superstar Rob Schulz and the big guy going Skyped again because of the pandemic continues on and just keeping our social distancing and making sure we're all safe here on this fabulous Friday afternoon. What a gorgeous day here in Western New York. Well, we're going to talk about overselling.
That's it.
Overselling. It's been a staple of wrestling throughout the years. Overselling a move, just overselling.
I'm unfamiliar with this term. I've never seen it or done it.
Well, there's been a lot of really classic overselling throughout the years, and we're going to talk about one here today. And we're also going to watch and actually show a match where there was some wonderful overselling from Kid Kash as he took on Dusty Rhodes at Ballpark Brawl right here. Speaking of Buffalo, good segue with Joe with the Blue Jays in Salem Stadium where the Ballpark Brawls took place years and years ago. So we're gonna just talk a little bit about overselling and how it is wrestling. I wish I could oversell at work. That'd be great. They come in, my boss comes in, wants me to do something while I'm home, but he comes in and asks me a question. I just kind of flow back in my chair and go, whoa,
Well, you know who oversold at work?
George Costanza.
Yeah. That's right.
He
just got to act angry. Yeah, you just got to act angry. Act angry and they'll think you're busy. George Costanza, man, what do you want? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you busy?
Well, these papers are going to file themselves.
It's funny. I talk about that all the time. With people at work is when we were actually at work about that episode and just acting angry all the time and just acting huffing and puffing and people think you're super busy and you're overselling. But
that's exactly it.
You have to oversell. You have to oversell.
So in the wrestling ring, when I think of overselling, I think Mr. Perfect.
Absolutely.
100%.
The way he bumped for, in particular, I think of Texas Tornado, who came to WWF and was a shell of his former self.
Right.
He had 1 foot.
Yeah, who would have thought that? Colonel De Beers found that out the hard way. Right? Colonel De Beers figured that out.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's funny when you talk about overselling. It really took. You really have to. The good oversellers really were very athletic at doing it. To throw their bodies and twirl, and I mean, it's amazing. Watching The Rock take a stunner from Stone Cold and do a 360. It is pretty athletic.
What about the old Flair flop? I mean, that's an oversell.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think modern wrestling. I think Dolph Ziggler probably oversells.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this is a positive oversell. This is a Mr. Perfect, Dolph Ziggler, Ric Flair. These are ways to oversell that gets a guy over. The negative side of overselling is what we really want to talk about, though.
Exactly. Yes. And one match comes to mind. Any wrestling purists out there who follow wrestling, the ins and outs of it, know of this one match we're going to discuss here. I know it was SummerSlam. I just don't know the date, and I apologize. But it was Hogan versus Shawn Michaels.
Oh, yeah.
SummerSlam
and again,
was a dream matchup.
Dream.
It was big plans, and basically what the story behind it is Hogan refused to do the Shawn Michaels plan, which was to do like a 3-match set.
Correct.
To a cage match at the end.
Correct.
Hogan, for whatever reason, had creative control. Even as a 50-year-old, why not? And he didn't want to lose to Michaels. And Shawn reacted in the... how would you say he reacted?
He oversold.
He oversold the hell out of it.
He oversold the hell out of it.
A bit of a brat, I think, but that's just one guy's opinion.
See, right, and I'm going to disagree. Like I said, Michaels was just looking to do like Joe was saying, Big Guy was saying, he was just looking to do a series of matches, and Hogan was going to win the blow off, the third match. He just wanted to build it better. He was thinking, I believe, trying to build this feud up. Okay, Hogan gets one, I get one, then we come down to the tiebreaker in a cage, and he was going to put Hogan over in that match. But Hogan just refused to do anything for Shawn Michaels. So Shawn Michaels, in my opinion, taught him, taught him a little lesson, and probably gave us one of the funniest things that I've ever watched. I can watch that thing over and over and over, and I just belly laugh about it. The commentary, as an announcer, I got to be honest, during years doing WrestleVision and calling matches, I know that I've been over the top on things where a guy goes to throw a punch and he misses. He's like, oh, he's got all of that,
Right.
So I got to believe the commentators at that time calling this match knew exactly what was going on. And you're trying to put Hogan over, and you're trying to call this as a legit match, but then you got Michaels just sprawling everywhere, falling every which way but loose during this match. And again, I don't know how they didn't laugh, because I would have been laughing.
I don't know how they didn't stop the match.
Right.
I mean, Michaels made a mockery out of Hogan. He made a mockery out of the whole industry. You can almost see him doing it to entertain his friends backstage.
No, I'm sure that
the click am going to show Hogan how to sell, brother.
But at the same time, Hulkster was gushing like a stuck pig from not much. He didn't get blasted by a chair, and then he was just it was all over his face, bleeding like crazy. Isn't that the same thing almost?
No, because Hogan loves to gig. So
okay.
He's like Flair or Dusty Rhodes, the old timers. You gotta bleach your hair blonde, so when you gig, it really shows up.
With the tan, it really just yeah. But no, you're right. Michaels, I just would have loved to have been backstage as he came through the gorilla, the curtain there after that match. I just wonder, like you said, Big Guy, with all his click buddies sitting back there. Oh God, to be a fly on the wall back then to see that, And what was going through Hogan's mind as he's doing this stuff, and you see Michaels, he throws him into the turnbuckle, the head first, and Michaels basically springboards back almost to the other corner, just on a simple face into the turnbuckle.
I don't think Shawn Michaels ever took a bump that didn't follow into some kind of reverse somersault.
It's just spectacular.
You can see Hogan's face during the match. There were a couple of times where you could see he was really pissed.
Right, he knew, okay, enough already, But Michaels it wasn't, and what was great about the match, it wasn't just a couple times, it was every single thing Hogan did to him was so overblown. You would have thought he would have gotten shot. It was great. It was great.
Some of the stuff in that match, I don't know you had mentioned Mr. Perfect and Texas Tornado earlier. Have you seen Mr. Perfect versus Hands of Stone, Rugged Ronnie Garvin? Because there's a lot of that stuff similarly where Mr. Perfect receives a punch and it looks like he was going to go through the mat somehow. It's a good watch if you haven't seen it. I don't know when it is or where it is, but check it out if you can, guys.
And the big. Sorry, go ahead, Big Guy.
I was just gonna say that match that we're talking about is SummerSlam 2005. If you want to watch it on the WWE Network, the Hogan Michaels, you really need to see that match because it's unbelievable.
And what's great is the follow up, or the whole. Michaels just didn't stop there. If I recall, he just basically made fun of Hogan. He was this didn't end during the match when he did that Larry King spot as Hulk Hogan and just basically made fun of Hogan. He really
he buried him.
Yeah,
in a promo.
He buried him. It just didn't stop after that match. It continued. So, and you know what? And I'm gonna back Michaels on this. Again, he came with an idea. He just thought it would be better to build it up. He wasn't looking to get over on Hogan. He's like, hey, let's do a kind of a split here. Hogan refused. I actually think, I don't know. Big Guy, you might know this better. I think originally Hogan agreed to do it and then changed his mind, or like was willing and then kind of flipped the script on him, and everybody said, no, I don't want to do it now. So I think that's kind of also what happened too. He kind of agreed.
I think it was definitely a late change.
Yes, correct.
I believe Hogan was claiming an injury that he needed to get taken care of, so he wouldn't be able to do the additional matches.
Okay, fair enough. I figured you knew the backstory. But like I said, I faintly remember that this was first he agreed, and then then he backed out.
So Shawn Michaels has talked about it like once or twice, and his story is that he was told to sell like the Shawn Michaels of 1997, and he claims that's all he was doing. Now, Shawn Michaels, you remember taking bumps with the Undertaker, and I mean he's a great seller, but he's never sold like that before.
No. I just remember him like spinning around, taking the boot, and just spinning around in a circle. Like it's phenomenal. It is. I'm laughing about it. I laugh about it every time I watch that. I laugh. I do. It's one of those. It's almost like watching a Seinfeld episode over and over. I don't know what it is, but it just continually makes me laugh because it's just so over the top.
So that is the negative side of the oversell, making a mockery out of someone and kind of diminishing the entire project. When we come back, we're going to talk Ballpark Brawl and the positive oversell that Kid Kash did with Dusty.
Yes. And the bionic elbow.
Thanks.
Yes. Fans, welcome back to the Big Schmaz. I'm Scotty Bender alongside superstar Rob Schulz and the big guy.
Yes.
We were earlier talking about the concept of overselling in wrestling and the negative impact on it when you are overselling in a match to make your opponent look bad for whatever reason. We talked about the Shawn Michaels Hulk Hogan Summerslam match where Shawn Michaels not too pleased with Hogan switching the creative side of things that they were planning on doing. So he decided to take things into his own hand and basically just oversell the shit out of that match. So we talked about that at length. But now we're going to be talking about the good things that overselling does. When overselling actually puts a guy over and actually makes that worker or that wrestler look better. So we're going to go back to Ballpark Brawl 4, and it was Dusty Rhodes against Kid Kash. Now, if you remember, Kid Kash left TNA when Dusty was the oh my god, what was he was the director of, help me out here, Authority. The TNA, so Kid Kash legitimately left TNA, and Christopher Hill always liked, that's one thing about Christopher Hill in the Ballpark Bros. I just want to make a comment. He always liked bringing folks who had a little heat together, and he wanted to bring them into a match. Even on the same card, he even tried having CM Punk and Teddy Hart, but Teddy Hart never showed up. But Christopher Hill, I'll give him credit. He always tried to stir the pot a little bit, which was good. So here's the match from Ballpark Brawl, and we're going to talk about how Kid Kash oversold.
So this is July 15th, 2005. So the same basic time frame of the Hogan-Shawn Michaels match.
Is an old challenge match, an old grudge match between me and one of the legends of this sport. That big, fat, white buffalo, Dusty Rhodes.
He's insulting a legend.
You know, when I was in TNA, I didn't have the chance or the opportunity to get the job done properly.
Kid Kash could have gone out there and done a Shawn Michaels. He could have made Dusty look as bad as Ivan does on commentary, but he chose not to.
Yeah.
Looks like your mama banged a buffalo, asshole.
The majority of my exposure to Kid Kash is from ECW. So how many years removed is he from there? It's about 8 years.
This is 4 or 5 years from ECW. He had a really good run in TNA. This is kind of as that run ended.
And he was still going at his top capacity and still wrestling very well. Good.
And you recall he was partnered with Lance Hoyt, now known as Lance Archer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's, of course, in AEW right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How old is Dusty here?
Dusty is 60 years old.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And he was still pretty active at the time, which is kind of crazy. I thought maybe this is like one of his last matches, but no.
Wow.
Dusty's about to come out.
Okay.
He's 60 years old, Scotty.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I got to tell you, as a kid growing up, I was a huge Dusty Rhodes fan. I mean, again, I sound, you guys hear me say all the time, but I grew up, with Georgia Championship Wrestling and watching that, and Dusty Rhodes, battling the Four Horsemen, it was something I just, and I was a huge Dusty Rhodes fan. So, but sometimes it's best not to meet your heroes, they say.
Mm.
Yeah, Dusty, we met him twice, and neither time he was very
cordial.
friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, which was, it really was a disappointment. I mean, it's just like,
I will say this in fairness. In fairness, had we offered him money, I think he would have talked to us.
Yes. But I can on my top five people growing up, Dusty Rhodes, Tommy Rich, I saw Dusty as a kid in Tampa when we would go visit on vacation. My parents had a family friend that we went, and I went to the Tampa Armory and saw him, and wrestle. And I was just a huge Dusty Rhodes fan. And yeah, so when when he's coming to the Ballpark Brawl, I was very excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is one of my my top guy wrestlers. And it just didn't go the way that I expected.
No, I feel extra bad. I was just gonna. Well, go ahead, Joe.
This was a match that I was not looking forward to at the Ballpark Brawl because I thought Kid Kash is at the top of his game, and I want to see what he can do. And Dusty Rhodes is 60 years old and looks like that.
I would agree. To say this was a contrast in styles, that's an understatement.
Right.
I think Ivan refers to the contrast of styles in commentary at some point.
So if you're Kid Kash and you put yourself in this situation, obviously to wrestle this as a straight up match, Kid Kash is faster, younger, stronger. He's got to find a way to work this match.
And I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
He really did. Like you said, if you looked at the card, I was more looking forward to because of Dusty Rhodes is seeing him, calling a Dusty Rhodes match, at ringside. I mean, that's, like a dream come true for me at that time. But you're right. As far as the match athleticism itself and the psychology behind it, you're right. It definitely had some low expectations. However, it really ended up, Kid Kash did a great job, putting Dusty over, quite honestly.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
I know who the hell I am.
I gotta say, him yelling at the fans was great. He said some really funny stuff. I think right there, I don't think you hear the commentary. He tells that guy to go teabag his buddy later. So I don't know. He was just saying some really raunchy stuff to people at ringside. It was great. Yelling at him. Oh, he was funny.
And again, Kid Kash coming into this match would have been real easy for him to get cheered. He went above and beyond to get booed.
Above and beyond.
Just, yeah. He might have personally insulted half the crowd by the time
he did, and it was pretty off color stuff too. I mean, it wasn't like you're a jerk. It was some, it was some stuff. But meeting Kid Kash, and me and the big guy, we've met him before, and he's great guy.
The weight advantage if he was in a zoo, Scotty Bender.
I'm sorry. Did I get cut out? Did you hear me?
No, you're.
I heard you.
Yeah. No, he was great.
He's a great guy.
No, we did. We met him in Canada for the Warrior One show. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And he had us back to his room, and we sat, and he had pecan pie, and we sat with him in his hotel room and talked with him and did an interview with him. But he was really a good guy. Like, coming off this match, you think he's the biggest douchebag, but he really, I mean, from my experience, Kid Kash was stand-up, really nice guy. So.
Do you remember the story he told us about America's Most Wanted and how they got their TNA contract?
I believe so.
I don't think we can say it on air. So.
No. Sexual favors, maybe? Or yeah.
That's what he said.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to tell you said that. Wait, that wasn't an insult, was it?
The match, was a slow-paced match, which, again, you expect that with Dusty being the age he was. He wasn't going to go in there and, break any speed records. But Kash just, he played to it very well, in between insulting people. Like you said, getting tremendous heat from the Buffalo crowd.
Right. And what he does by doing the match this slow is he puts over every little thing Dusty does.
Right.
He is selling this wrist lock like Randy Couture has him in an armbar.
An armbar, right, exactly. He's just really got, all he's doing is really holding onto his hand. And
He's
Kid Kash goes,
just holding his fingers gently.
yes. Like they're holding hands at the movies or something. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
Referee Mike O'Shea.
What can you say about Mike O'Shea?
I can't say anything about him.
He's a gamer.
Oh.
He's a gamer. Out of Ontario, Canada. Good guy. Good guy.
Yeah. I know from being friends with him on Facebook, this is a match he's very proud of, being able to referee a match with Dusty Rhodes.
And he does a good job. He's a good. Yeah. Overall as a referee, he did good. I mean, we've seen some really bad referees in our travels throughout Wrestlevision filming. Some really bad referees. But you got. Oh, it's right there. See that bionic elbow. Want to stay away from that.
So he sells just the thought of the bionic elbow.
Grabbing the top of his head.
Just a high flyer. He's also a very smart wrestler.
Yeah, right there. Almost like the old, the selling of the bionic elbow almost reminds me of the old school Jerry the King Lawler drop at the strap, with the fist. People didn't want to get hit with that right hand in Memphis. That was like, the knockout blow.
If Jake the Snake got someone in the front chancery.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a
to the DDT.
Yep, correct. Yeah, that was like, you got to get out of that. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But no, he does.
And again, this is just an elbow.
Yep.
This isn't a stunner or a DDT that he's selling.
And going into this match, Kid Kash leaving TNA and Dusty Rhodes, the director of authority there, you didn't know if there's any real heat between these guys, outside of the ring. So you didn't know what Kid Kash was going to do when he went into the match. He could have just dogged Dusty and made him look bad, and he didn't.
Yeah.
He went in and as a professional and did what he took, what he could in this match out of Dusty. He brought the best out of it, and this is the only way you almost could have done this match the way he did it.
This is where Dusty almost killed you and Ivan. Just a little bit more.
I just remember Ivan always getting all frantic whenever, because throughout the Ballpark Brawls, the wrestlers always used to come by the table. Remember, Ivan would just get the hell out of Dodge. He was always like, he always would, he'd almost oversell that.
He did.
Ivan was overselling. Like, oh my God, I get out of here. Like someone had like a gun or like a weapon. He was in danger, grave danger.
Now there you are, being the professional. You're not leaving that area.
No.
You're not pulling a Michael Cole. You're not running away.
No.
As somebody who appreciates a back rake, I can tell you that it didn't affect Dusty that much because he was wearing a T-shirt. And if his flesh was exposed, then that might have been it.
Well, we should mention that the overselling of Kid Kash is why we're watching this match. The underselling of Dusty Rhodes is the topic.
Big guy, I was just going to say that. I was going to say, Dusty did not reciprocate the same love back to Kid Kash.
No. Dusty's main sell was to brush his hair gently back.
That's why you said that. I was going to make a comment. I was like, as much as Kid Kash is selling for Dusty, again, he didn't return the favor.
Tell me why they're so pathetic lately. Can you also tell me that, Bender?
No, he didn't. He just.
Now look at how he's selling these blows.
Oh, and then again,
Yeah.
to the eyes.
The punches to the stomach, he was jumping off the ground like he was hit with a cannon.
Now just straighten that.
But again, Kid Kash kept going. I like, going after the leg off Dusty. And, he's probably figured, you know what? He's not going to sell, my shots to the head. I'm just going to go after the leg now. I'm going to make him have to sell because with a bad wheel, you got to go down.
It's got to have a greater effect on an older wrestler like that than a young guy. Very smart.
Also, once you get Dusty down on the mat, you probably want to keep him down there for a while. He's only got so many ups and downs in a match.
Yeah, right. You don't want to use him up. But Trey, I remember when Chris Hill told us about he's booking this match. I remember us all talking about it and just going, I don't know. But
yeah, I think we all agreed it was kind of a waste of Kid Kash, but
yeah, but no, it actually ended up being one of the better matches on the card.
I think he was the only guy who could have done this, who could have pulled this off.
Agreed. No, my hat's off to him. He did great.
Could you see Dusty Rhodes against Trent Acid? I mean,
they could have shared a Sunday together.
From Dusty Rhodes, but I got to believe
Inside Ballpark Brawls. One of these days we'll do a podcast on Inside Ballpark Brawls and get you all the funny dirt stories.
Oh, and then the karate kick right to the back.
Yeah, there was a lot.
So I was joking before. I do know what overselling is, and I have done it a lot. I don't know. I feel like the level of wrestling that I was on, like, I think that it was important to be doing it, and as with Kid Kash here not having it reciprocated, I've been with that as well.
Kid Kash,
it is kind of a... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say he was almost putting the figure 4 there, and he again was selling that like the end of the world was coming.
Yeah,
I got locked into this move.
Kid Kash like a surgeon or a gynecologist.
And Dusty gets poked in the eye and just kind of wipes the sweat off his brow.
Yeah, he's very concerned about the 2 hairs in the front.
Yeah.
Drop kicking Dusty Rhodes.
But to your point, you know what I mean, Rob? Like, yeah, you've been in matches where people like probably didn't, sell back like you wanted them to because you were, going over the top for them. So,
yeah,
I gotta believe it, but you got to continue on as a professional. Like, it's not, you can't, you can't take it personal, right? I mean, you're out there to do a job and you're out there to perform. So,
well, again, like I was saying, we're all like on the same page to an extent. We're all doing what we want to do. As far as, like on a Friday night, like we want to be wrestling in that ring. So if the crowd is supposed to suspend disbelief, like shouldn't we be allowing that? Like I remember like having to like muscle a guy over hard way in a snap suplex, and the exact same match, like he wouldn't give me anything. It's like, why? That's not professional. That's not what we signed up to do. And if you're standing 4'8", it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
So, shrug. What can you do?
He's getting his wiggle back.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Chucking and jiving, Dusty.
Getting his wiggle back.
And there's Kash just selling the shit out of it.
Oh!
He saw it was coming, Scotty Bender. He read the playbook. He read the scouting books.
No, we're done. No, I can't do this anymore. And look at this is great right here. Watch. He's trying to get Dusty to go into the. He wouldn't go. Oh. He's trying to pull Dusty through the ropes. Oh, here we go again. Boom.
He's knocked out.
One elbow. One bionic elbow.
That's all it takes. Well, it's bionic.
And that worked because the entire match he was selling the threat of that bionic elbow. So when he finally connects, you're like, wow.
Now this is great right here. So he hits him in the low blow. Now watch.
Doesn't hook the leg, 2.
Not to give it away. So again, nice Cash selling the kick out. But you notice he keeps going back to the referee. He keeps going on that same page, giving Dusty time to recoup. Oh, wow, another elbow. And for the win, it's over.
Hook the leg, too. See, now that's paying him some respect, hooking the leg like that. He went for a sloppy no-leg hook cover. But he did.
Like Andre did. Like Andre used to at the end of his career.
Ooh.
Boom, look at that. Great replay right there. And the elbow. Kid Kash that's awesome. But again, fans were entertained. Kid Kash, earned his keep in that match. He definitely did what he's supposed to do, and he did it well in that match.
I like how the ref is still telling, Kid Kash was a 3 count. He didn't believe it.
No.
Even after running from the whole match. Good stuff. Thanks for showing me. I like it.
Yeah. The oversell on the positive side of things.
There you go.
And how
Kid Kash, for all the negativity towards him, the backstage problems, he was the actual best professional wrestler we've encountered.
Yes. Yeah. And again, to reiterate, that match, he could have easily went in there, and mailed that match in. He could have, went out there, done something, a terrible match, got paid, got back on his plane, went home, but he didn't. He came out there. He did what, he stuck by the wrestling code, and he did what he was supposed to do. He put Dusty over, and he made Dusty look like, like a Superman, when in fact Dusty was beyond his, best for his career. So my hat's off to Kid Kash, and, great job. That was a good match, and it was fun to call.
Great job, Kid Kash. I appreciate you.
Makes you kind of want to see Kid Kash versus Hulk Hogan. That's all right. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we've got Hot Button, and Schulze Explains It All.
Oh,
all right.
I'm sure everyone will.
Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Big Smash. Scotty Bender, Superstar Rob Schultz, and the Big Guy.
Hey.
And we're getting to the end of the show here. And at the end of all of our Big Smashes, we have 2 segments that are just becoming just fan favorites. I mean, they are just viraling out of control here.
Is that why we're back? Everybody's like, they wanted more.
Yeah. I'm getting all sorts of requests. But go ahead, Big Guy. We'll let you segue into this.
Well, it's time for the #1 internet sensation, Schulze Explains It.
That's #1?
Yeah, we have scientific, numerical. First off, we want
the
to
evidence
say
is there.
Person, man, woman, camera, TV. Can you repeat those for me?
Person, cam, woman, man, TV.
Okay. If you had done them in the right order, you would have got bonus points. But
shoot.
This week we're going to have you explain the night DX invaded WCW.
Okay. So, oh man, were they both in Georgia that week? I don't know. Anyway, so a lot of the guys got on not a tank, but it was like a Jeep equipped with some sort of howitzer thing. And they were going in there, and they went to the arena, and WWF was showing it on their broadcast, what was happening with X-Pac and Road Dogg and Chyna and Triple H and B.A. Billy Gunn, DX. So they went there, and they wanted to go inside, and they got right to the gates, and they were they put the garage door down, and there were WCW fans there, and they had WWF shirts on also. And it was pretty cool. And it's a shame that WCW didn't go, hey, we're wrestlers in a wrestling business. Why? I don't know why they didn't play along. They would have both had footage. Maybe there's some sort of liability issues there, when you get down to the brass tacks and the pen and paper aspect of it. But if they actually got to invade, it would have been even bigger than what it was. Like it's still a noteworthy thing. Here we are talking about it on Schulzie Explains It, and it could have been just like the biggest thing in the history of the world. Like I don't know, Rick Rude appeared on TV twice in one night. Like what if you had DX like I don't know. It was pretty cool. It was exciting. I wish they got inside.
Okay, now repeat those 5 words back to me.
Person, can, woman, man, TV.
Yeah, it was camera.
Okay. What's going on?
It's time for Scotty Bender.
Oh.
And
Oh.
button.
Oh, Scotty.
All right. So this week, my hot button is going to concern Major League Baseball. As we know, we're back with Major League Baseball. It debuted last night with the Yankees in the Senators in a rain-delayed game, and then they had
Nationals?
Dodgers. Yes, Senators. Did I say Senators?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I meant the Nationals. And then we had the Giants and the Dodgers. I do have to make a comment, though. If anyone did see Dr. Fauci throw that first pitch out, that was something of amazement.
Just a bit outside.
He was a little bit outside. Yeah, it was quite funny. So my hot button this week, again, is going to go towards Major League Baseball. And as anyone knows me, like you big guy, and you, Rob, we're all big baseball fans. And I don't want to say I'm a baseball purist. I mean, but I do really enjoy baseball. Someone who can watch a baseball game on TV that has like just 2 random teams, but sit and enjoy the sport and just, the game, it takes a lot because people always complain, oh, I don't like baseball, it's boring. But, if someone who really likes baseball can sit and watch it, and enjoy it. And that's how I feel I am. However, I'm going to go on to say that I do believe that the baseball season should have been canceled this year. And I'll tell you why. First off, baseball is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the thing that I take pride and thing I like about baseball is the grind over the season. The best teams at the end of the year, the cream rises to the top, and those are your best teams. It doesn't necessarily mean you come out of the gate. We've seen a lot of teams come out of the gate, but it's that longevity, it's that grind that I appreciate in the sport of baseball. With a 60-game schedule, I just don't feel that way. I do feel that it was just based on money and just based on the fact the owners didn't want to lose a shit ton of money that they're already going to lose. So they sacrificed and they said, hey, we're going to put a season together. Will I watch baseball? I probably will, but I'm not. This is to me going to be a season that I'm not taking serious because of a few things. First of all, you've got the pandemic, which is surging in states throughout the South. And you're going to see a lot more players come down with COVID and they're going to be quarantined. They're not going to play. So right there throws a cog in the whole wheel of, what if your best player gets COVID or what if your players get COVID? That's going to be an issue. So is that going to, are you always going to have your best team out there? Who knows? I mean, this season just started, but we don't know in 60 games what's going to happen. Another concern I have is sending these teams into these hot spots. It's not like the NBA basketball where they have a bubble where they're all quarantined and they're playing. I mean, are you going to send teams into LA, into Texas, into Florida? Again, I know they're not playing in front of fans, but they are still traveling together and they're still in that environment. And, we're talking about safety. I just don't understand. LA is ready to lock the city down and we're going to send baseball and have baseball players play there. So I think that whole thing is just another issue. I don't understand that. And then you're going to have, because of the 60-game season, you're going to have whoever wins this division, wins the World Series. I'm a Yankee hater. So say the Yankees win, I'm going to just go around and say, well, it wasn't a full season. They whatever. If it was a full season, we'll see what happens. But it wasn't a full season. So you're going to have that end of it. And then you're going to have, other teams that, you may win and, it's just going to always have that weird feeling to it. And I'm just not a fan of it. I love baseball, but I feel like they're putting a round peg in a square hole with this. And again, and then you just throw in the no fan issue. That's a whole different issue. I think sports needs fans. I can't imagine when football season starts not having fans in the stadium. I think, and again, you go to a Bills game, the whole idea of home field advantage, in a football game with no fans. I just watched it last night. I mean, it was okay to watch just because I haven't seen baseball, but it just didn't have the same feel. And, the poor Blue Jays came in playing their in their home, their home country. They have to go down. We just announced they're going into Buffalo to play, so they're going to be playing in a minor league stadium, not even going to be playing in their home stadium. So again, I just think this was just short-sighted, and a lot of people are like, oh, we need baseball during these times, but I agree. But for someone who really is a big fan of the sport and has been watching it all my life, I don't like to see it this way. So that's my take on it.
The hottest of buttons.
Yeah.
Schultz, you're an Orioles fan.
I am. I'm excited for baseball tonight. I've been waiting since September for an Oriole game because they don't get to play in October. So
you might wait till next season for them to win a game. So, I mean, it's really going to be tough.
Well, I got an email from MLB.com today. It was saying why every team should get excited for the chances. And they said that they simulated a season on a video game and the Orioles made the playoffs. So it could happen.
I love baseball, but I don't care for this. I'm not going to take the season. I'm going to take the season for what it is. And to me, it's not serious.
What they should do is they should have the players not in the game lining the lines on the field behind glass barricades, and they can have lasers and different kind of lights lighting everything up, and they can wear T-shirts of their favorite players, and they can cheer and they can boo, basically on command whenever you need them to. I mean,
I like that idea.
How they could do that. Okay, Next week we're going to talk heel turns.
Oh.
And some of the best, our favorite heel turns, the beauty of the heel turn, the storytelling, and maybe we'll even look at a WrestleVision heel turn, if you will.
Ooh, I like that. I like the heel turns. There's been some great ones. I'm not going to jump ahead. Two immediately jump into my head as a kid growing up. So yeah, we'll save that for some more fun next week. So this was good this week. I like it. I like talking about the ballpark brawls, bring back some good memories. So for Superstar Rob Show, for the big guy,
yes,
I'm Scotty Bender, and we will see you next week right here for more fun and frivolity on the Big Smash.
Yeah.